Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel here, Matt with Green Bar Trading. This week is a huge week with earnings. So we see most of our key technology companies with their earnings reports this coming week. Now, it's not just earnings that is really exciting about this week. It's the FOMC meeting and their rate decision that comes on Wednesday. It's just an awesome week. The market, the volume should be there, and there's a lot to pay attention to. So starting off with our earnings here up on the screen, you see, it's just jam-packed. On Tuesday, Microsoft, AMD, Google. You talk about all the big companies, those big, huge tech companies, they all have earnings. On Thursday, you have Apple, Amazon, Meta. It's just, like I said, it's jam-packed. So have a lot of fun this week with this. If you are trading and you're going to be trading options around these earnings reports, just be careful, because if you don't get that big move in your favor, that IV crush can kill you. So just be careful with that. All right. So that's your earnings up there. All right. So now let's go over to the economic calendar. Before we look at this week, I want to go back to last week and what really moved the markets. That was the Q4 GDP number that came out on Thursday. It was a huge beat. Guys, 3.3% GDP growth in that Q4, where the median forecast was looking for about 2%. I've seen anywhere between 1.8%, to 2%. We saw 3.3%, just meaning that the economy is just humming along. Recession fears are fading, and, things are looking good for the, spending in the companies. You can see here on Friday, the spending from consumers is still beating expectations. This is all good. And the PCE, the core PCE, is getting down to that 2%, which is what the Fed is targeting. So the economic reports are all coming in, and they're showing a very strong economy with inflation coming down and, job growth still really strong. All good things that are happening in this higher rate, world we're living in now, which we weren't in a year ago. So it's really good to see that the economy is holding up. Now, going over to this week, right? So that we're on Monday, January 29th. There's nothing scheduled that day. So you have Tuesday consumer confidence, job openings. Those are market movers, at least at that time frame. So if you are trading and it's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just be aware of these reports that come out. What I'm going to be looking at is the FOMC rate decision and Powell. And that's going to be on Wednesday. What are they going to say? So everyone is expecting the rates to stay the same. All right. That's a given. We're not expecting raises, and we're not expecting any cuts in this decision. All right. It's what they're going to say and what they're going to show going forward, right? Are there going to be, how many rate cuts are they expected? Because in the market right now, there's a little bit of a discrepancy between the Fed funds future and what the market is pricing in for how many rate cuts there are going to be. So I'm going to show you that in a second. But before I do, I want to show you on Friday also is the jobs numbers. This is also, it's been strong. The unemployment rate's been very, very low. So we're going to watch that on Friday. So far, everything is looking good until it's not, right? So we just have to see, how these come in. All right, now going over to the charts. I like to look at the SPY first. This is the S&P 500 ETF. It's a really good thing to look at. It's a basic broad market view of how, those best companies are doing. all put into an ETF. So what I like to look at, if this is the first time that you're watching my video, this is the daily chart. Each one of these candlesticks represents 1 day of trading, right? I have the RSI down here, which is the relative strength index. I'll explain how I use that. I have the volume. These are the indicators that I use. The volume here, and I use the 200-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, and the 20 EMA for momentum, okay? So that's what I look at. These are the indicators I look at. And I like to look back and see where the consolidation has been, where those breakouts have been. Have they been on bigger volume like this one was? That's a good sign there. I like to look back and see where patterns may repeat from the past, from history, right? So what I'm seeing now, and I'm just looking at the 1 year chart here, is I'm seeing a very similar pattern here from last summer, which was like that June to August type of period, which is kind of what I'm seeing here. And I'm going to use that 20 EMA as an example, right? So you had some consolidation here, and I'll just show you guys right here, right? So we had some consolidation. The market broke out. It pulled back to the 20 EMA, okay? Similar to here, you had that consolidation. The market broke out and then pulled back to the 20 EMA, right? This is showing momentum, right? The 20 is over the 50-day. This is showing a lot of momentum. This is why I'm looking back at history and what we've seen, all right? You also had the RSI starting to get higher and then to that overbought territory as we broke out, right? So as we broke out, we're starting to see that RSI is in that overbought territory, and then it pulls back to the 20 EMA and starts to pull back into more reasonable relative strength index, right? So it pulls back here, same thing, and it pulls back here to the similar RSI, right? Then we pop back up, right, to that previous high, which is right around there, which is right around here, and then pull back again right here to that 20 EMA, right here to the 20 EMA before breaking out again, right? And then we're breaking out again right here. So this is similar to what we're starting to see here. A lot of small candles, right? A lot of close trading. And will we see that again? It's possible. The RSI is also overbought back here, but it was starting to make lower highs on the RSI. That's sort of what we're seeing here, right? It didn't hit the RSI that it hit on this breakout, but it's starting to turn down a little bit, all right? Now, am I saying that, we're going to just fall back down like we saw in previous pattern? Not necessarily, but there is a possibility for that to happen. Something that hasn't gotten tested yet, which I really like to see these tests, is this area right here. This hasn't been tested. Since the breakout, we've consolidated more here and then broke out, right? We haven't tested this spot. So that's what I'm going to be watching, for that potential. If we do see eventually not enough buyers stepping in and we do pull back and break the 20 EMA and then eventually have some trouble around the 50, or at least test the 50, you're talking about a little bit of a market pullback. The RSI is very high right now. So this is this kind of stuff that I'm looking at as far as the SPY goes, the S&P 500. All right. Taking a look at the Qs, which is the NASDAQ market. This is the ETF that follows that. A lot of similar stuff going on, right? So we broke out to all-time highs, starting to roll over just a little bit. This has been a nice move up off of this trend line. If we look back where this trend line started, all right, back here in 2023, it's been a very nice move up, just bouncing along the trend line. But again, the market is overbought. Technology stocks have been doing really, really well. All right. We did see a lot of volume here on this breakout, which is always a good sign. It definitely will be tested, as it comes and pulls back eventually. That will be an area that's tested because there's been a lot of volume that took place those days. All right. So that's right around this area. Market's looking good. 20 EMA looking good. Over the 50. Very solid moves on the market. But, as we get higher and higher, you have to think to yourself, eventually the market pulls on back. Okay. Not saying that has to happen, but, definitely be aware of it. Something that I'm looking at too is Tesla. This has been a really nice, clean technical analysis on this. And we were showing back here, I think I made a video, that it hit this trend line to start the year and pulled on back. So now that's where we're at here. But look at the RSI. Extremely, extremely oversold. Then we can expect a possible bounce like we saw back here at the start of 2023. All right, hit the thumbs up for the video. I will see you on the next one. Take care.